From Lalate News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is the Midday Report on Lalate.
It's a big midday here on LA with incredible great news about your fourth stimulus check updated 2021 as AOC tells her staff, tells a viewer of this channel that she's going to give Purple Hawks a monthly stimulus check. IRS in the fourth stimulus recon. I have the world exclusive in this recording, and guess what? We're not done there with the world exclusives. As we go into a midday, Elizabeth Warren's office tells another viewer she's giving you a monthly stimulus check IRS in this stimulus package, fourth, number 4. And then we have Bernie saying the same thing, Casey's office saying the same thing, and also Coons. In this recording, you're going to see why the Purple Hawks have now stepped forward and got no less than 7 Democrats, top Democrats, to vow to give you a monthly stimulus check in the fourth stimulus recon by advocating for it. Then we cut to the big, exciting details that all erupted with the first 645 pages of that reconciliation budget bill. It has checks for seniors, checks for workers, hazard pay, money for cars, money for vehicles, and nothing for surfboards. Then we cut to cluster number 2, that there's more checks in there. Money for repairing your home, even money to learn my darn French. And then we go into the third cluster as we see money for seniors and money for workers. It's a big day, and if we couldn't top that, the wave is coming in of another wave of checks, and guess what it is? $13 billion of it for third stimulus for rent, utilities, and food, and internet. It's landing right this week. It's exciting news, world exclusive details you're not going to see anywhere else. This is a major recording, and it's time for noontime on Lalate. Hey, good noontime, everybody. I hope you're doing well, and I hope the weather is good where you are. It is cold as hell in Santa Monica because winter is now with us in September. A very weird weather pattern. But in this recording, we'll go over all the incredible details as the Purple Hawks have now stepped forward and getting message after message after message from AOC, Elizabeth Warren, Bernie, Schumer, and also Chris Coons and Casey for a monthly fourth recon check IRS. I have all the incredible details in this recording. Then we cut to the big exciting details of the first 45 pages of that reconciliation budget bill. Money for seniors, money for hazard pay, money for essential workers. Wow, this is the type of money you wanted to see, and I'm going to go over all these checks now confirmed in that recon. Then we cut to cluster number 2 and cluster number 3, a series of more checks that they're going to be writing up and getting them done right away. And then we cut to the big money that you thought you could get, but now you can get even more of it because there's an additional $13 billion of checks coming from IRS to the states for rent, utilities, food, and internet. And this is a big recording because this is Allied. Thank you for joining me, and it's at noontime, so subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this incredible family. Thank you for the last week being the biggest week of this channel in only 3 months. And even this morning's show was the most watched morning show in a long time because the excitement starts here. You feel it, and you feel the excitement, and you feel how the Purple Hawks are now changing history one viewer at a time. I want you part of this incredible family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Let's cut right into the details. And the details come from viewer after viewer after viewer. It started with WR, with Chris Coons. It continued with Brother Joshua, with Bernie Sanders. And then it continued to snowball thereafter. What happened? Well, it started with Donnie. It started with Donnie several days ago, who picked up the phone and called Bernie Sanders' office and advocated for a stimulus check. And his advocacy worked. saying, I need it. And Bernie Sanders' office saying, yes, they're going to be putting in a forced stimulus check and it will be monthly. Hurricane Tina picking up the phone and getting confirmation as well, forced stimulus check. And then Carolyn Smith calling on behalf of the Purple Power, advocating for it. I need it. People are losing their homes. People need it. They're losing everything. And Bernie's office saying, yes, there will be a forced stimulus check. But then came the Friday, as a viewer by the name of Lorica, wonderful viewer, picked up the phone and called Senator Casey's office and said, they're negotiating the stimulus checks, IRS, right now. And out of nowhere came Will, late Friday, with the incredible triple whammy, calling Schumer's office, confirming there's a stimulus check, calling Bernie's office, advocating for one, and getting confirmation there's one in there, and calling also Elizabeth Warren's office, advocating, this is why I need it, advocating, and Warren's office saying, yes, $1,400 to $2,000, 6 to 12 months. Bonnie, in one of the live chats yesterday, said, I almost choked on my food when I heard that. I couldn't believe the excitement. Well, get ready for this one, Bonnie. Paul, overnight, saying, I spoke to AOC's office. You're hearing this for the first time at noontime. Spoke to AOC's office today, called and told her, I need it. I need a stimulus check. And I spoke to her secretary. And this congresswoman wants to add monthly stimulus checks in the $3.5 trillion recon bill. She wants them in there at $2,000 the first month, $1,000 every month thereafter, 12 months. The assistant to AOC assured me that there would be in the bill. Take care. Thank you, Paul. And this is Purple Power. And that is just the start of your forced stimulus recon. I'll have more about this later in this video, but let's cut to the first 645 pages of that reconciliation budget bill released. And there's checks for hazard pay, checks for seniors, checks for children, $51,000 of monthly stimulus checks over 18 years, checks to fix your house, checks for college students, and checks for a new car, checks for a new bike, and checks for a new house. Let's go over all the incredible details of each one at a time. But first, here's a message. Everything in the recon is not COVID related. So you don't have to have any COVID issue to be eligible for these items. The first one is hazard pay for essential workers. We first met hazard pay in 2020 on this channel with nearly 300 videos about hazard pay. But it got into third stimulus by pushing of the Purple Power. And hazard pay in third stimulus was this. They took an old tax code called the Earned Income Tax Credit, modified it, raised the eligibility so that more people qualify for it across the board, and then took the amount of payment and made it substantially bigger. But third stimulus was just temporary. So what are they doing? They're making it a lifetime. Wow. So if you're an essential worker and you are eligible every year, you will get this money, the Earned Income Tax Credit. How about $4,000 a year? Yes, this is number two. $4,000 a year, up to $4,000 a year if you care for an elderly person. This is Representative Richard Neal's head of the Ways and Means Committee's baby. He put this in there. And it's up to $4,000 a year if you care for an elderly person. This is big for caregivers. On the other side, they're doing the same amount for individuals who care for children. And what about the big money for college students? Yes, college students will have a new round of grants directly to them or to the universities, and the Pell Grant will all be tax-free. Then what about $51,000 of monthly stimulus checks? Oh my goodness. Yes, it's happening. It's in the first 645 pages of this bill, which is going to be upwards of 8,000 pages. What is it? If you're a parent of a child in a low-income family, then you qualify. And if that child is newborn and that child and the family remains in a low-income setting for the next 18 years, you will get upwards of $300 a month, every month for 18 years, which is $51,000. Wow. The next money for cars, money for vehicles, and money for bikes. Let's start with the bikes. You want a new bike? Well, guess what? The federal government will pay 15% of the purchase price of a new electric bike. You want a new car? For personal use, Go ahead. The federal government will pay up to $7,500 of the purchase price of a new electric vehicle from the major 3 U.S. auto manufacturers. They're also doing another provision for the import manufacturers. Then, if you want a new vehicle for business use or a new truck for business use, they will give you a big check as well, upwards probably about $8,000. Wow, that is the first 645 pages, but let me give you a preview of cluster number 2 and cluster number 3. There is a lot of other checks that they have released to us. Cluster number 2 is nearly 12 checks, which they have identified they're doing. They talk about it every single day, but it's not yet in the bill itself, in the writing of the bill. They're still going over the negotiations. Then cluster number 3 are the ones that the president has talked about over the last 6 months. They're getting in there because he wants them. All right, let's go over what this 645 pages means to us. Why is it 645 pages? Because the Democrats negotiated and said, go write these up. Who agrees upon these items? Democrats only. There's no Republicans needed. It's the Senate Democrats and the House Democrats behind closed doors. Not on TV, not on C-SPAN, not on TikTok. Not on TikTok, no. They're behind closed doors, having a cup of coffee or a shot of bourbon. And they're negotiating the provisions one at a time. And once they agree upon something, they say, go write it. Go write it. And they say $4,000 a year for caring for the elderly. Go write it. And these are the 645 pages that they said, go write. Cluster number 2 coming up in a second. But first, here's a preview of third stimulus that we did not see coming. And this is absolutely huge. We had thought all the money for rent, utilities, food, and internet was sent out from the federal government under third stimulus to city, colleges, and states. We just presumed it was. It wasn't. There's another $13 billion that's going out last week and this coming week. And the announcement came from Treasury. Treasury is happy to provide these state and local government are happy to provide to state and local programs this additional resources to provide Americans in need of rental assistance. This is an additional $13 billion of the full $47 billion that they had not yet sent out for rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and more. I'll have more about that later in this video, but let's cut to the second cluster of checks. I'm excited. Are you excited? Let's do it right now. This second cluster of checks are the 12 checks that are getting in there. They're just going over the deal provisions. Expansion of paid family and medical leave. How much is this? What is this? Paid family leave. If your spouse got pregnant, you have to stay home. Paid medical leave. If your son broke his leg, you have to stay home. Well, how much does it pay? A lot. It's under third stimulus proposed the following way. $1,700 a week if you make $71,000 a year. But let's split it. If you make $30,000 a year, then it's $800 a week. Let's split it. If you make $15,000 a year, then you get $400 a week. Wow. Who pays this? The federal government to the employer who then pays you. All right, what's the next check? Childcare checks, then checks for household tax credits, then checks for seniors, checks for Medicare benefits, including dental, vision, hearing checks, and also medical eligibility checks across the board. There was one check from the first 645 pages, which I left out. I forgot to mention. It's a check to repair your home if you're in a low-income community. That was in the first 645 pages. I left that out. Sorry about that. But here's the other check for the home that is in cluster number 2. This check is to weatherize your home. That is when the Purple Hawks are above the sky. Weatherizing your home is, let's say you're in a hurricane area or a tornado area or a fire area, then the federal government will give you checks to weatherize your home. This is the second cluster. Then more money for the Affordable Care Act subsidies. And the next 2 items are money for education. Another round of checks for education. Universal pre-kindergarten free. The federal government will pick up the price tag for free pre-kindergarten for children. And then the next one I personally love. There's always someone who says, I understand what the House Lalate's saying. I don't understand his accent. Well, guess what? You can take a tuition-free community college on a class called What the World is Lalate Saying? 101. Pardon my French. They'll provide free tuition community college to people across the board. And then checks for green energy and transportation. Wow. All right, let's cut back to that big, exciting details of those MSC IRS checks. Wow. Let's go over all the incredible details. First, Brother Joshua Chris Coons, early on in this channel, were pushing and advocating for it. It was nearly 8 weeks ago when I told viewers to advocate for an MSC, and Senator Chris Coons' office was the first to confirm that he's giving you a stimulus check in a conversation with longtime viewer WR. I'll go over more about that conversation later in this video. After that, then Brother Joshua talked with Bernie Sanders' office, advocated for a need of a stimulus check for himself, for his family, and for his church. And that advocacy worked by Brother Joshua, Bernie Sanders' office confirming monthly stimulus check, $1,000 to $1,400, 4 to 6 months. And after that, I said, pick up the phone and start advocating. Call these Democratic senators. Call Bernie. And the floodgates started. We started with Donnie, who picked up the phone and called Bernie Sanders' office. And let's see what Donnie says. Donnie said the following. I called up Bernie Sanders and talked to his secretary and said they're doing a forced stimulus check. I said, this is why we need it. I need it. My city needs it. I need it to progress. And Donnie kept on advocating. Then Hurricane Tina called up Bernie's office and said, I called, I need it. I need to get through it. And they're putting a forced stimulus check in there. And then Carolyn Smith on Countdown Lalate 2 days ago called up and advocated for it with Bernie's office. Advocated, people are losing their homes here. And Bernie's office said they're giving you a stimulus check. Then it got even bigger. Out of nowhere came Lorica, who picked up the phone and called Senator Casey's office, Casey, and that office confirmed that they're actually in negotiations with the other offices about the stimulus checks. And Will opened the floodgates. Will called not one, but 3 offices. Let me tell you what Will said. I spent the day yesterday calling around. I called Senator Bernie's offices. I called Warren's offices. I called Schumer's office. All 3 of them, secretaries confirmed. I explained my situation about how I need a forced stimulus check. And Warren's office said they are considering $1,400 to $2,000, 6 to 12 months. Yesterday, when I delivered it on camera, Bonnie said I almost choked on my food. I was so excited. Well, get ready for this excitement because you're hearing it for the first time at noontime. AOC's office is on pace as well. Her office, after advocacy from Paul about why his family needs a stimulus check, AOC's office confirmed she absolutely will be doing $2,000 a month and then $1,000 thereafter for 12 months. Boy, Purple Power, you are killing it. And I got more about that coming up in a second. But Lord, that is just the start of the horizon. Coming up in a second, I'm going to go over the third cluster of checks. There's a lot of checks in there for seniors, workers, and some of them are totally automatic. I'm going to be going back over third stimulus, and I go over why viewers have now taken the numbers and nearly tripled them in less than a month. I'm going to show you how to triple on money and how if you've gotten money, you can get more money as well. I'm going to show you a new twist for the nonprofits that are paying big sums of money and the additional $13 billion coming from the federal government. And then we'll be cutting back more to this exciting details of the 7 legislators who have now said to Purple Power viewers, they're doing it. Wow, it's an exciting noontime. I'll be back with you in 60 seconds. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LA Daily for the excitement of the new LA Live Daily. The excitement starts on mornings LA at 9 a.m. Home LA returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LA at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on Lalate. And the excitement continues right now at noontime, Lalate, as we go into the second half of this recording with the big exciting details as more are revealed for that push for the MSC. I have all the incredible details at noontime. Then we cut to cluster number 3 as a lot more checks for SSI, SSDI, and workers in the third cluster. Then we'll be going over how they vote on this and who writes it up. We'll be cutting to money for everyone, including money for seniors, money for workers, the homeless, and then we'll be cutting to rent, utilities, and food with another $13 billion, sorry about that, going out to cities and counties and states. We have never seen money like this. It's a big noontime. I'm excited you're here, and this is Lalate. Wow, what a recording we got coming up for you. But first, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this incredible family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Later today are shows on Afternoons Lalate. This video will automatically take you there at 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, the 5 o'clock evenings Lalate, and then shows at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11:30. I want you part of this incredible family. And with that, let's go right into the exciting details of the third cluster. The third cluster is really incredible. The third cluster has even more checks in there as well. And the third cluster starts with free school meals for all checks, cheaper prescription medication checks, checks for farmers, checks for free internet. Then we have checks for other things like seniors, and also checks for workers. Checks for workers, checks for independent contractors, checks for seniors, checks for dental, checks for vision, and checks for hearing care. Wow. Are some of these checks automatic? Some of those are. For example, internet, totally, nearly automatic. You just have to indicate to your city and county where you are, and they'll say, okay, you're here. Here's the username and password for the Wi-Fi. The federal government's giving fortunes to those local cities so that they can provide you free internet. Then let's go over to the prescription medication. They're going to slash the price of your prescription medication overnight, so you'll instantly see that impact on your wallet. Let's say, for example, you go to the pharmacy on a Monday to fill a prescription, pay $30. This becomes law the next day. Then suddenly next time you go back, you save $20 on your purchase. Wow. All right, let's cut to the big exciting details of third stimulus with another $13 billion landing in your cities, counties, and states. This is huge, because this is money for rent, utility, money for rent for homelessness, money for food, and money for mortgage assistance as well. If you reached out to any of the places I detailed over the last few months of this channel and showed you how to get this money, and you reached all 6 of 6, and all 6 said, no, we ran out of money, guess what? Every single county and state will have money. Every county, whether it's a Republican state or a small state, every state is getting this money. Let's go over all the incredible details, and let's start with Karen. Karen, who's one of the viewers who sent us a wonderful message on, I think it was Wednesday this week, showed us that the numbers are going bigger than ever before. When we were talking about rent on this channel, we're going to go over rent, utilities, food, internet, mortgage assistance. About a month ago, rent was at $20,000 that viewers are getting. Let's look at the amount of rent that viewers are getting now. Wow. This was a month ago, but now Karen got $40,000 of rent, showing us the rent has now going up, has nearly doubled in a month. Then when we talk about utilities, Mark's brother-in-law got enormous sums of money for items, and among them was his utilities. Mark's brother-in-law got $15,000 from utilities, showing us that the number has gone up 300%. And then Mark's brother-in-law got $21,000 for food, for SNAP, showing us how big those numbers have gone as well. All right, get a pen, paper, cell phone ready. So I'm going to go over all this money and how you get it starting right now. We're going to go over how to get rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, homeowners assistance, SNAP, and all that starting right now. The first item, first thing I'm going to show you is some introductory remarks. I'm going to show you 6 places to reach out to. If one says no, reach out to the other 6. Make sure you reach out to all 6 of 6. Number 2, listen to the keywords I say in this video. It helps get people approved. And number 3, it's important to understand that I'm going to have some surprises of other places to get this money from as well. All right, here are the 6 places you reach out to. Your city hall, your city housing authority. Your county hall, your county housing authority. Your state hall, and your state housing authority. The keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, mortgage, or utility assistance because of COVID. Let's go over those 6 places again. Your city hall, your city housing authority, your county hall, your county housing authority, and your state hall and your state housing authority. Now, if you reached out to all 6 of the 6 in the last few months and they said, we're out of money, now that has changed. The federal government is sending out this $13 billion to all cities and counties so they will get replenished instantly. The money started this week and will continue next week. So call them right away and say, I want to get on the waiting list. Can I call you back tomorrow to see if you got the money? Or did you get the money already? Be on top of it, because when the money lands, it gets used up right away. Kevin Lee, a longtime viewer of this channel, in 2020 got money in Dallas, Texas in the middle of the pandemic in April of 2020. The money was there and in less than 3 days was gone. So make sure you stay on top of this. Number 2, utilities. I want you to reach out to all your utility companies. So if you have 5, reach out to all 5. They have different pots of money to pay you. Number 3, a big surprise, which is the nonprofits. The nonprofits are absolutely incredible. In fall of 2020 and early 2021, this channel made hundreds and hundreds of recordings called Purple, going over the nonprofits that help you for homeless people to get money and to get into a shelter, or give you money for rent, money to provide for rent, money for help you with your mortgage, money for utilities. And I wasn't sure if they're still paying out. So about 3 days ago, I brought them back in the mix on this channel, and boy, the success has been overwhelming. Within 24 hours, one viewer said, Lalate, I had never known about United Way. I picked up the phone right after hearing your recording. They said, no one's calling for rent. I'm first in line. I'm likely to get approved. Then yesterday, another viewer said, Lalate, you can't imagine. I got a new refrigerator, a new furnace, and also got my window fixed. All right, let's go over those 5 nonprofits. Each does different things. Each thing does things differently in different parts of the country. They are United Way, Salvation Army, Community Action, Catholic Charities, and St. Vincent de Paul. Let's go over the 5 again. United Way, Salvation Army, Community Action, Catholic Charities, or St. Vincent de Paul. Wow. If you become a Purple Hawk, the link's in the video, I daily send you out a breakdown of all the big money under first, second, and third stimulus. But I'm now including the nonprofits and the $13 billion from the federal government in that rundown. So you see these other sums of money you can get as well. All right, let's turn to SNAP. SNAP is money for food. You get it from the Department of Agriculture. It pays a lot. How much does SNAP pay? Well, Mark's brother-in-law is getting $21,000, but guess what? He's sitting on $26,000 annually, lifetime, starting in October. What happened? Department of Agriculture is raising everyone's benefits up an average of 25% lifetime automatically starting in October. Let's explain those letters. You're first going to get a letter that says the raise up you have currently because of 2 executive orders is ending. That letter comes first. Then you're going to get a letter that says you're getting a raise up, and that's the up to 25% raise up. That starts in October. Then the last 2 pots of money, the refund check back from your state due to overpayment on employment benefits and computer error. Average payment is about $2,000 to $5,000. Reach out to your state for the information. And finally, the refund check back from IRS. This is the 2020 tax return that you filed on that unemployment benefits. Average payment is about $1,200 to $2,000. Margaret got it, Cod got it, Michael got it. If you got this as well, or you got any of these sums of money like Lynn, Glenn, and Gail who got money for SNAP, post in the live chat. When you do, you inspire other people. And with that, we go into the final 15 minutes of this video with the big exciting details of what the president, what the Democrats, and what the Purple Power is doing for those MSCs. Wow, let's go over all the incredible details of that starting right now. And let's start with what happened no less than 8 weeks ago. 8 weeks ago, a lot of clatter or chatter on the edges was saying, I don't know, I haven't heard. I said, pick up the phone and call. Advocate and call. And WR, a longtime viewer of this channel, picked up the phone and called. He called Senator Chris Coons, that's C-O-O-N-S, Democrat, Delaware, Joe Biden's oldest confidant, and advocated for a stimulus check. WR advocated, said why I need it. This is why my community needs it, why my church needs it. And the Senator Chris Coons' office said, yes, he's putting in a monthly stimulus check in the fourth stimulus recon. There you go, the first world exclusive on this channel. But I said at the time, pick up the phone and call. As WR said yesterday in one of the live chats, a viewer had said something like, I want to pray. And he said, prayer's good, but calling is better. He's very right. I said, pick up the phone and call. And over the next few weeks, not a lot of people from this channel called. But it started to change when I explained to viewers that there's two budget committees. There's the House Budget Committee that's writing this budget bill, and there's the Senate Budget Committee, and that's Bernie Sanders. He's the chairman of the Budget Committee. He's the guy who actually got the $3.5 trillion price tag. He went to the negotiations asking for it, and he got his number he wanted. I told you that he had said to Broadcast Me about 3 weeks ago that prior budget chairmen for the Senate just sort of did their things in D.C., but I like to get out amongst the people, Bernie said. I said, that's translation for, he wants to hear from you. He wants to hear from you for advocating for what you want in that recon. And I said, pick up the phone and call. And again, not a lot of people called. Margaret called, Len Glenn called, and Brother Joshua. They advocated. Brother Joshua advocated very strongly. What is advocacy for stimulus? Advocacy is basically you saying why you need it. I need a stimulus check because this is what's happening to me. I need it because this is what's happening in my family, my church, my community. This is what a stimulus check would do for us. This is what's happening in my business. This is why it's so important I get a stimulus check. That's advocacy. Giving an impassioned explanation of your story because they are elected officials who've been elected to hear your story. They resonate to a story when it has passion and what has details. They're going to get off the phone and say, wow, can you imagine the story I just heard from this person? It was overwhelming. It's an incredible story of why a stimulus check is so needed. What is not advocacy? This is not advocacy. Treating your elected officials like UPS tracking or FedEx tracking. Where, when, how, who, when. Is it not? Is it when, who, wow. No. They don't want to be treated like that. They're elected to advocate for you, and they want to hear you advocating. And that's what Brother Joshua did. He's a 2020 volunteer to the community page, longtime Purple Hawk, and member and viewer of this channel. He picked up the phone and advocated for his family and for his church to Bernie Sanders' secretary. And the response was, yes, Senator Bernie Sanders will be putting a monthly stimulus check in there. Another world exclusive from this channel. It will be a monthly stimulus check, 4 to 6 months, $1,000 to $1,400, and there you go. But Sanders' staff said very clear, he needs to hear your support before he does it. And I said, hey, that's a call to action. Pick up the phone and call. Call and advocate. And the floodgates started thereafter. It started with Donnie, who heard me very loud and clear and picked up the phone and advocated to Senator Sanders' staff. What did Donnie write? Here is what Donnie wrote. I called Bernie Sanders' secretary, and I said, I need it, why I need it, a stimulus check, why my city needs it. I need it to progress. I need it for my water, and I need it for everything. I need it. I told her that. And she said, yes, they're doing a fourth stimulus check. And then Hurricane Tina, I called Bernie's office and I caught through, and they did say they're putting in their stimulus check. Then the very impassioned advocacy by Carolyn Smith on Countdown Lalate. She wrote this in the live chat. I called Bernie Sanders' office and talked to his secretary, told her why we needed help. We need help here. We're losing our houses here, and we're losing what we got. She said she agrees, and Bernie is putting in a stimmy check. And then what happened after that? I told viewers this channel, we have over the last 3 months had a very clear indication of which Democrats have put in writing they want to give you a stimulus check. Warren, Wyden, Sanders, Schumer. I said pick up the phone and call the other ones. On the House side, we have AOC and Jolliball. I said pick up the phone and advocate. And the incredible action started with Will, who called 3, not 1, but 3 Democratic senators, one after another, advocating and telling them why he needed it. And this is what Will said. I called, yesterday I called 3 of them, and I kept on calling. I called Bernie, Warren, and Schumer's office, and all 3 of the secretaries confirmed there's a fourth stimulus check. I explained my situation and how a fourth stimulus check would make a huge impact. And I was told, yes, it's happening. Elizabeth Warren's office asked me, what kind of check do I think would be sufficient? I explained I like the American petition, and they said they're on board with that. The American petition is $2,000 a month, by the way. They said Senator Warren is considering $1,400 to $2,000, 6 to 12 months. Wow. There is Will calling 3 offices and advocating to 3 separate offices about this. Lorica telling us she called Senator Casey's office. Finally got through, and he's on the committee for aging and pushing for lots of money for the elderly and disabled. And I talked to a girl there, and she said, yes, they're in negotiations right now on the amount of the stimulus checks. My goodness. Can we top that? We can. I told you to call all the people. Schumer, Warren, AOC, Jolapal, and then a viewer, for the first time you're seeing this on Noontime, picked up the phone and called AOC on the House side. Today, I called Representative AOC and spoke to her secretary and was told that according to her, the Congresswoman AOC wants to add a monthly stimulus check and in the $3.5 trillion bill. She wants it to be $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter for 12 months, and she assured me they are adding it to the bill. Take care. That is Paul. Great job, Paul. Well, the world exclusives don't end there, because now I'm going to show you when and how they vote on this. Over the last few months, I told you, and you're only here on this channel, that the Democratic House members would likely write up the bill. I'm saying that as well today. My reporting was confirmed recently when the first 645 pages of what the Senate and House Democrats agree upon was written up by House Democrats. The remaining pages will be written up by the House Democrats. So where will the voting start? My exclusive reporting also suggests that the House will start the voting, the House side. This is huge, because if AOC gets it done right and gets everything you need in there, then you're ready to go on the House side. It'll get approved by the House in a blink of an eye. Now, if by chance the House side is not robust enough and there needs to be some more money in there, then guess what? The Senate votes last, and I love this. This is why it's great that the House votes first. When it lands in the Senate, they have a 2-day vote-a-rama. That 2-day vote-a-rama gives the senators the opportunity to make changes. Now, the senators, they're Democrats, so they're not going to remove what another Democrat wrote, but they'll add something on top of it or increase the amount. This is big, because you have Warren calling for what you saw according to Paul. You have Schumer, who's confirmed by all these incredible calls by viewers of this channel. You have Wyden, who, according to one viewer, says, who put on writing that he wants to give you a stimulus check. And you have Schumer, who put in writing that he wants to give you a stimulus check. You have Coons, told by another viewer who wants to give you a stimulus check. And you have Casey, told by Lorica. You got to keep on pushing, Purple Power, because those senators go last, and that is why this is very important to the equation. Finally, fifth stimulus. Are they still doing fifth stimulus? Yes. Fifth stimulus heats up in September, out for a vote by about November. First, they'll raise your benefits up if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, SSA, or multiple beneficiaries. Then they'll apply a new benchmark. The new benchmark is inflation. Where's inflation going? It's going to be transitory. That means it's going to go back up and then come back down. How high? I'm saying about 5%. Then they're going to remove the asset cap, dating back to a 1980s law. This you can't have more than $3,000 on hand. It's going to go away. They're going to remove the income cap, dating back to a 1960s law that says you can't work and stay on benefits. And finally, the marriage penalty is going to go away. And love is going to win, and you'll be able to marry your longtime love interest and do a pair dance at your wedding and no longer fear loss of benefits like Rob and Sandy. There you go. Meantime, if you have not become a Purple Hawk, you need to become a Purple Hawk. Purple Hawks are delivered daily from me to them, a breakdown of all the big money under first, second, and third stimulus. I also now include in there the coverage of the nonprofits and that $13 billion cash infusion from the federal government. It's important to understand that Purple Hawks are killing it, that there's fortunes available under third stimulus, and viewers are getting $80,000 like Johnny, over $60,000 for Mark, $40,000 for Mark's brother-in-law, and now another $40,000 for his neighbor. Jen getting $40,000 for rent. You can do this as well. Lots of money, and now we're seeing the money is just lots of items we never thought that would be covered. As one viewer from one of the nonprofits yesterday got a brand new furnace, a brand new refrigerator, and fixed one of her windows. Let's recap. Third, fourth, and fifth stimulus. Fifth stimulus for a vote by about November, raises your benefits up thereafter. This is the SSI and SSDI reform. Third stimulus, already law, but still paying out with a new cash infusion of $13 billion landing this week. Incredible. And then fourth stimulus. We have the recon It's going to be a massive bill, potentially 8,000 pages, 645 pages so far written, lots of checks in those first 645 pages, including hazard pay and money for seniors, and then $51,000 of MSCs for certain families. Then cluster number 2 has more checks on top of that, and cluster number 3 has more as well. There may be a lot more clusters. Those are just the ones we know so far. They get those reduced to a writing, then they're in the bill. Likely go for a vote on the House side first, and then the Senate. So Purple Power, keep on doing what you're doing. These are the names to reach out to. Coons, on the Senate side. Coons, Casey, Warren, Wyden, Schumer, and Sanders, of course. Then over on the House side, AOC and Jalapal and Omar. And there you go. Not in one call, make it 3 calls. Not one push, make it 3 pushes. And with that, coming up next, this video will automatically take you to the big 1 p.m. afternoon's LA show. Then I'm back with you at 3 o'clock with the 3 o'clock afternoon show, and then the 5 o'clock evening's LA and the overnight's crypto show as well. We got new programming blocks on this channel, a show every hour on the hour, starting at 5 o'clock. A show at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, and 11:30. And with that, subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. I want you part of this incredible family. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay with LA for more.